Hey guys. Looks like we got people waiting already. That's pretty awesome. And I've already got a like. How are you guys tonight? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me? Awesome, cool. Because I've got the new webcam right here, and I can't show you. I'm watching you on my computer, so I need to quit doing that and look at you here. But yeah, I've got the awesome. Can you hear me clearly? Because this is the very first time I've used this. Jamie, hi. Can you hear me clearly? I know we were talking about this earlier today. I'm going to turn on this ring light and see if maybe it was brighter earlier because the sun was, well, the sun, it was lighter. Okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks, guys. So anyways, what do we got? We got 5 people in here now. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Amber, Denise, Sandy, Ediani. Jamie's here, of course. I already said that. There's 5. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. This little camera is really cute. It's only like, I don't know, about that big. And the little tripod is literally like that tall. I got the box and I was bumming because I thought that the tripod didn't come with it. And I was like, oh, there's no tripod. I didn't realize the tripod was only like this big. So the box was like just real tiny. And I'm digging through it and I'm like, isn't that cute? Hey, Gabby. All right, Gabby, and see, I've got Cindy. I've got you as a mod. And then I'm going to put, Gabby, are you going to be able to stay? Or do you want me to put Amber? Because I know Amber's kids, this is early. So just in case Amber has to duck out. Gabby, you okay with being a mod? All right. I'm just going to put you on there, Gabby. Tell me if it's not okay and I'll take you off. So, okay, guys. Anyways, it's been a while. Gosh, I'm sorry. Last week was crazy going back to work. Just nuts. But, you know, it was nice having Christmas off. It was nice being able to hang out with you guys. And I'm not looking at the camera because the comments are over here. Maybe I need to move that. That's kind of silly. Okay, cool. Thanks, Gabby. I'm just afraid Amber's going to have to get off with her kids. I don't want to make you busy, Amber, because I know your kids have to go to bed soon. But cool. And guys, Jamie Peterson on here is a friend of mine, and she just found out about you guys today. So everybody say hi to Jamie and my cat. And she's just all intrigued by this. So I'm excited to have her on here. Oh, no, it's okay, Amber. Don't worry about it. No, I didn't want to put you under the pressure of being a mod and then have to get off. So no, you're fine. You're fine. It's all good. All good. So we're here to learn about me and Ediani's Juki. All right, Ediani, have you played with yours a lot, Eddie? You had time to mess with it much? Because I know you got that new embroidery machine too. And that thing's really nice. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Sandy. Yeah, I went on and said I was going to get on in 5 minutes. So hopefully we'll have some more people coming over. Yeah. How was you guys' pop-up? Did you guys do good this weekend at that? I saw the pictures of it. So, yep, Sandy's the best. She is. I agree. Oh, you're going to get some fabric tomorrow? Okay, cool. Yeah, and I'll show you a couple tricks that you're going to want to play with, and it'll help you make edges and stuff, and like ruffle edges and things like that. That is really cool. Yeah, So yeah, we want to hear, how did your pop-up go? Was it good? I guess I didn't realize that there was that pop-up in Houston every month. So that was good information. I didn't know if they were doing that kind of stuff yet or not, but I know I saw one, where was I? Yesterday. Oh, it was up here where I live. I was driving over to go somewhere and I was like, why is there a lot of cars right here? And then I saw kind of behind the building and a little bit out in the parking lot that they had a bunch of tents up. So they must be starting to slowly just kind of get over it, or I don't know, decide that they're just going to go for it. I don't know what it is, but yeah, the weather. I know you probably wouldn't have had as many people today anyway. It was pretty cold. I feel really bad for my outdoor cats. It's pretty cold here. So yeah. Yeah, and I might be interested in going with you. It just depends. It wouldn't be probably for a couple of months, but you know, we might be able to. I don't know when you're moving though too. So we might be able to look at that as well. So anyway, yes, the studio finally is warming up. Jamie, I put it way up on 80 and it's finally doing what it's supposed to do. So yeah, I think I just needed to clean it a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure you came over here to watch me clean my mini split so we can have heat. But yeah, it's feeling pretty good in here. So finally, but yeah. Let us know, Ediani. You know, if nothing else, get on Discord and kind of give us the deets, or send it over to me and Gabby on a private message too. Love to know a little bit more about it. But yeah, it looked like there was quite a few people at that, so that would be a really good thing to know about, because especially when like May and June come around, a lot of people are looking for, you know, gifts and good stuff and places to go like that. And it'd also give me an excuse to go see Gabby. Yeah, it is. I bet, Amber. In Scottsdale too. I know everybody's like, we had snow today, guys. Snow. I'm in South Texas. Snow. So I'm, as most of you know, I'm not a native Texan. I come from the Midwest. So I'm looking outside, big, beautiful flakes coming down, but I'm like, nope. Nobody, nope. That can go away. Asked Jamie. She was laughing at me. I was like, no. I moved down here. I want sunshine and warm temperatures. Oh man, I'm just not having it. Okay. You guys came to see the Juki, not hear about the weather. So anyways, for those of you that have never seen a Juki except for Ediani's, there's the Juki. And it's backwards. I'm sorry. I will have to play with these settings. But the Juki is just a little bit more, what do I want to say? A little bulkier in the front than the Brother is. The Brother tends to be flatter faced and everything is back here from what I can see, where the Juki has everything right up front, showing you all the ways that you can thread the machine and everything. So let's get a really good look at this. So I'm going to zoom back just a little bit. So anyway, like I was telling Ediani, when it came in her box, all her threads right here were tied and they were sitting around this little dial here, and nothing was in the back. So what they want you to do, and I'm just tightening everything up because I've learned, always keep this area really nice and neat before you sew. So if you have to take a couple of minutes to pull threads back and make it really neat, it's worth your time, because you won't have little issues and glitches that could happen. I'm not saying it will, but it could. So I'm always one of those, let's just keep everything nice and neat. So anyways, what I was telling her to do when you guys were watching her was to tie on the new thread, which is back here. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out. I hope I'm not making you guys sick. I'm sorry. So tie on your new threads that sit back here, one by one, and run them up through your trapeze up here. So this trapeze is color coded on the Jukis. I don't know if it is on the Brothers, but I know it is on the Jukis. So this is yellow, green, blue, and red. And then everything is color coordinated down here as well. So we've got yellow, blue, green, and red. And so I was showing her as well, when you open this up, you still have blue and red right there. And then this is blue right there. And this is red. So it gives you your path. So your blue and your red are your two lower threads. And then you go up here. I'm trying not to make you guys sick. Your yellow and your green are your top threads. So then you follow, and it looks like my green is starting to fade. I've had this machine about 5 years, so my green is starting to look a little more blue. But you've got your green and your yellow. So you follow the fact that both of these, green and yellow, go together up here, and then they split. So the yellow goes on the top, green goes on the bottom. And then it shows you where to put it here. And then you bring both of them together and you thread your needles. So you got a double needle going on right there. So there's your top, there's your bottom. And if you're confused, I don't know if the Brother has this, but the Juki has a nice little wiring diagram right there, or a threading diagram right here, and it tells you where to oil also. And I don't know if this is going to focus or not for you guys. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be on an autofocus. So we're learning on this camera, but it does show you the 2 points to oil. So Ediani, when you were wondering about oiling, so look at your little chart here and follow exactly where it says to do it, and just one drop, okay? Now I'm going to move the camera back, so if this makes you sick, guys, just don't watch for a second. So when you go to use oil, make sure you use white sewing machine oil. You do not use any other oil, nothing. Sewing machines, anything sewing related uses sewing machine oil only. Okay, so let me go back and look. Oh, it's not backwards? It looked backwards on my screen, so I assumed it was backwards. Let me see here. All right. Oh, okay. So good. Thank you. Thank you. Because I was like, oh, it's backwards, and I got to go figure that out. Okay. So Gabby, your dad has an industrial Juki sewing machine that I wanted to ask if I know anything about. Yeah, I might know something about it. Yeah, I can help you with that. They're awesome. Industrial machines are probably really the easiest ones because the parts are very minimal. There's you'll probably find one guy in each major city that is really good with those and knows how to fix them. I've got a guy in San Antonio. I'm sure there's somebody in Houston. So if all it is getting it shipped to you, but they're very heavy, so the shipping's going to be kind of expensive, and it may be the same price as just getting one that's local. So we can talk about that offline, but yeah, I can help you with the industrials. So, hey, Cindy. Oh yeah, Zoa, absolutely. That might be an option too. Yeah, but the only thing is then you still got to get it back here. So I don't know what that looks like price-wise. Sorry, I got to look at my phone. A friend of mine is texting me, and there's some things going on. So just give me 1 second. Yeah, actually, I don't know if it's a Juki, but they're all kind of made by the same companies. And this is a heavy-duty leather sewing machine. So they're all going to be about the same. And I really think they're all made in the same plants. So yeah, we can definitely talk about that. So, okay, cool. All right. Okay, hey Mary, glad you could join us. Yeah, Amber, an industrial, I would not make it without an industrial. It is, it's something, mine is something that bridges that gap for me, that when things become just a little too thick for a standard sewing machine and you start having stitching problems, you take it to the industrial and you have absolutely no problems. Now, Amber, you and I can kind of talk about that too, because what I've got is real heavy duty. I've got some ideas for something if you don't need something that's that heavy duty. This one does, I bought this one from people that did saddles and horse tack and things like that. So this one sews like 4 pieces of leather, so probably about that thick, if I really needed it to. And I've adjusted it so that it goes down as far as I need it to. And I didn't think I was going to be able to. I was afraid I was too thick, but I got it. So we can talk about that too. I've got some ideas of what I've seen out right now that I like, and it might work for you. Yeah, hit that thumbs up, guys, please. And if you're not subscribed, that would be awesome if you'd subscribe. We're going to have a sew along next Sunday. Is going to be my turn. So tomorrow night is Amber's, over on Amber's channel at Bingham Bliss. And you'll hear me say that again a couple of times throughout this live. But she's going to be sewing, I think it was leggings, right? Am I right, Amber? You were going to do some leggings. But yeah, let's see. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything here, guys. Oh, you're okay, Jenny. You're okay. I've been kind of MIA today too, and kind of all week. I'm kind of going back to work, and you know, you take that time off for the holidays, and then all of a sudden work goes, oh, and now you've been gone for 2 weeks. Here you go. Make up the time. And you got 5 days to make it up in. So that's kind of where I've been this last week. So I'm hoping that that slows down a little more now. And yes, leggings. Okay, so Amber's going to do leggings tomorrow night over on her channel at Bingham Bliss. And make sure you join for her. I believe it's 8:30 her time, but go ahead and just put in comments again, Amber, what time your sew along is tomorrow night. And then I'm going to announce what time I'm doing mine next Sunday. It's probably going to be right around this time. Sunday nights seem to work pretty well for me. And I think it looks like little Alessa Code doesn't have it unless she changes it. And that's going to be the one thing I'm going to watch. I don't want to impede upon her time. So if she claims it, I will move my time and we'll work around that. And then Danny's usually on Sunday afternoons, so I don't want to impede upon her either. So we'll figure it out. We'll find a time next Sunday if a little Lessica does it in the evening. So it'll be all good. Yeah, catch the replays too, guys, because that's the one thing. If you can't join the live, it's all good. You know, the replay is always going to be there, and get your supply list and sew along. So if you want to sew along while we're live and then go and pick it up again on the replay, or, you know, whatever works for you. So yeah, it's just going to be real fun and just laid back, just the way it was when Gabby did it this last week. So we're just there to have fun. All right. Now, so let's get back to this little machine here, because I know you guys are all excited about the sergers. And so I've had this Juki for about 5 years. Like I said, I'm a hardcore sewer. I put my machines through a lot. I grew up with my mom sewing. My uncle had a sew and vac store, so he sold sewing machines. He fixed them. He fixed the vacuum machines. So I know I can beat up a machine. My mom would burn up the motors, and my uncle would have to replace the motors. She had an old Pfaff, and she would sew upstairs. And she was a quilt sewer for our church. So she would sew upstairs, and it was always so funny. She would get that going as fast as she could. And it always sounded, my dad always said, it sounded like she was going to come through the floor on that sewing machine. She was sewing it so fast. And I think my uncle replaced that motor 2 or 3 times because it was a really old metal Pfaff. And so I've learned so much just to keep them clean, and what they will do and what they can't do and that kind of stuff. So if you guys have any questions, just hit me up. You know, I'm not afraid to help you guys, give you some, give you my thoughts, take a couple of people's ideas and put them all together, and then, you know, whatever works for you guys and you feel comfortable with, and that's awesome. But I really recommend, if you're going to buy a used one, go to the sew and back stores. They know those machines. They have gone over the machine. They've cleaned every part of it. They fixed it. If it doesn't work, they're going to stand behind it, and you're going to bring it back, and they're going to make it work for you. They are not there to sell a sewing machine. They are there to help you and to make sure everything's working really good. These guys usually have done that for probably decades, you know, because I know my uncle was always the kind that's like, you know, I'm going to make sure it's working before it walks out the door. And then if it walks out the door and you have problems, you call me and bring it back in, and we'll sit down together and we'll try and make it work again. So I just love those guys. They're really awesome. Yeah, but I'm here, guys. Anytime you know, even if I can't answer, my day job tends to be the kind where if I can't answer, I know kind of where to point you to get the answer. So if I don't know the answer for what you're asking me, we can definitely look it up together. I'll research it. You research it. I'll tell you maybe, hey, try here, try there. Yeah, well, I'll figure it out. That's what this is all about. This is about community, and the Discord is so cool here. So it's, you know, we're just here to help each other and to make sure we lift each other up and get each other down the road, because it's just too easy to get the right information in 5 minutes and get the wrong information and not realize it's wrong until you're down the road and have to back up that much further. So let's, you know, I don't want to do that to anybody. I want people just to ask me. So anyway, I keep saying we're going to go into this. I'm sorry to keep talking and talking. It is a live. It is a chat with me. I hope you guys have some fabric, and if not, go get yourself something to work on. Grab some coffee, some tea, some hot chocolate. At least those of us that are down here in Texas, you're probably going to need the heater on. I mean, I'm not kidding, guys. It's like, it's brisk. It is downright brisk, and I'm really worried for the animals outside tonight, because this is a dive in temperature that they weren't ready for, and it was not a gradual, it was a sudden. So I'm really concerned for some of those babies out there. But anyway, so if you have to run away, don't worry. We're just going to do something simple. I'm going to start off by showing you guys, like Ediani had done, just the simple stitch. Okay, so I'm just going to take some squares, and we're just going to pretend like I'm going to put a quilt square together, Jamie. And I have these already pre-cut from a while ago. And so this is going to further my cause to make my quilt that I keep saying for years I'm going to do. So you guys are helping me get there. Thanks. Yes, Mary, that's probably very similar to what I have here, only I bet yours are probably a lot older. And some of those old machines, though, they are as good as they were brand new. And you cannot beat some of those old metal machines. If they are taken care of, they will last decades and decades and decades. Because they're simple. There's not many parts to them. There's a motor, there's a couple of working parts, and there's some oil. And that's all there is to them. And pretty much everything can be replaceable. My industrial machine is heavy. I cannot pick up the head of it, which is that part that you see that sits above the desk. That's called the head. And I can't pick that up by myself. It is too heavy. That thing probably weighs 100 pounds or more. And it sits on the desk itself, and underneath is where the oil is. So if I remember, you guys remind me, I'll lift that head towards after we do all this and kind of just show you what's underneath if you've never seen it. But it's kind of cool. It's got like this thread that comes out and picks up the oil, because the oil is not within the machine. The oil sits in a pan underneath that head. And so it pulls it up by a thread. And then when you're sewing, it looks like a little percolator on the top of it. And it's got a little window, and you can see the oil percolating. And that's how you know you have enough oil without having to pick the head up. So if you don't see it percolating, then you got to check. And still sometimes you've got enough. It's just not percolating like you think, or you just didn't look and caught it or something. So, but yeah. Okay. So another tangent. Straight stitch and zigzag, and that is it. But most have only a straight stitch, right? Yeah, the industrials usually have a straight stitch, but you can get an industrial machine that is a zigzag as well. So yeah, we can look at that. The one that I'm thinking that I like a lot, I think, is only a straight stitch, but I think Juki makes one that I like as well that has both. But yeah, there are theirs. There are some that have the both. So yeah, it is a possibility. The industrials go in anywhere from a light dressmaker weight to where, you know, you'd see the factories where all they're doing is dresses and blouses and, you know, the lighter weight clothes. And those look just like that, only they are a lighter weight made. And so all the parts are not as heavy duty. And then there's a medium that kind of hits the lighter leathers to the clothing weight. And then you've got mine, which is the real heavy duty that takes supposedly the medium weights to the super heavy leathers and anything past that. So I can do upholsteries for boats and stuff like that on this. But I tricked it and I do quilting with it. So I can get it, and I've messed with the settings, and I can get it to where I can do a sandwich, a quilt sandwich, and I can quilt it. And it's just a little too cumbersome to do on a regular machine for me, the ones that I make for a friend of mine, because she likes hers a little heavier and thicker. But I can put it on there, and that thing, I've only got the motor setting on the lowest speed. There's 2 speeds. It's like, basically, like I say, one of my cats and my dog is, there's 2 speeds. It's sleep and go. Well, that's kind of what that machine is. It's kind of like sleep and go. And I have not put it on the go setting yet because that scares me. It is wow. It's wow. The lowest setting is still a little scary. So anyway, okay. So going back to this. So I've got the little sandwich here for my quilt, and try and move this ring light in so you guys can see a little. Okay, so you see you've got a guide here. Sorry for the nails, guys. My gel is coming off and I didn't have time to pull it off. So you've got the 1/2 inch, the inch, the 1.5 centimeters. So the centimeters on the bottom, the inches on the top. I don't know about the brothers, if that's the way they do it on the markings, but that's the way the Juki does it. So I usually try and follow, you know, the 5/8, because this line goes all the way down because it picks up the centimeter as well. So that's this one, and I don't know if my camera is ever going to completely focus. There we go. So it picks this one up, and that one's really easy to follow for a seam guide. So you've got all the way up to 1 inch. So make sure when you look at your sergers, see if you've got that, and it's really quite helpful. So let me see if I can do this here. I don't know how I'm going to be able to hold this, and I can do this one-handed. It'll be all right. We got it. So you can kind of see how this edge of the fabric sits at this 1.5 right there. So I'm going to follow that while I sew, okay? So then it gives you that nice clean stitch, both sides, and that's using all 4 threads, okay? Now this machine, I can take it down to 3 and 2 threads as well. And it just depends upon what I want to do with it. So here's the little trick I told Ediani to do. And I know some of you other girls have heard this too, and you were mentioning in the comments. So instead of cutting with a scissor, what you do is you pull this around. Since you don't have, this is not a sewing machine when I tell you this. You don't have to have fabric underneath to run your machine. You can go ahead and just, and then you pull it around and you let the knife cut it. And that's how you end that. So this is different in that sense, because a sewing machine, you can't run the sewing machine like that without fabric in it, or you will get a bird's nest underneath and you'll have a mess. But you can do it with a serger. So you don't have to have your scissors. You can just serge, 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 let the knife cut it, serge, serge, serge. Then if you have threaded it and you want to get a little more tail in the back, you just grab the tail back here and just run it and pull on the tail a little bit and get yourself some length. And then you're ready to go if that's what you need. So I love the way that you can just do that and keep moving without, it doesn't slow you down. It's just such a cool little feature that the sergers allow you to do. Now, here's another thing before we get into some of this other stuff that when you start messing a little bit with your tension, what I suggest you do is pull your camera out on your phone. Before you do any messing, take a picture of it so that when you start messing, you don't have to try and remember what was that dial set at, what was that set at. In case you get the tension kind of wonky and you have to start completely over, you can go and reset all your dials back to where they were. So on this one, I usually run anywhere from a 4 to a 5. And this dial shows you which thread I'm messing with. So it's color coded according to this color again. So this is the yellow. So I'm messing with the far top thread. And then on this green, I'm messing with the second top thread, or the one that's underneath. So the top thread is this one right here. And then the one underneath is this one. So that tells you which ones they are. And you can tell also if you look at it. Now, I don't know, again, if the brothers do this, but I can hold it up and it mimics. Sorry, I'm still trying to get used to all this, guys. Don't get sick. But it mimics the stitches, and it shows you exactly by the color which one it is. So you can see that that green one is that second one that I pointed out right there by that little diagram. So then you go down here in the blue, it tells you this blue is this bottom one, and this red is actually, let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. The blue is the loops, and the red is this bottom one here. I wasn't reading my diagrams correctly. Sorry about that, guys. So that's the thing I like about the Jukis so much. I've not worked with the brothers, so I'm just talking about the Jukis, but it tells you everything you're doing. So the other thing about this little workhorse, before I move on to some other things, is I was telling you about the industrial machines and how they had their own purposes. So some are lightweight, some are medium weight, some are heavyweight. This one adjusts its tension. So I can go ahead and go from, say, like these two together to, if I had, say, like this many together coming in next. So I've got like 2, 4, I've got 6, and it goes on top. So if I'm sewing along and I'm going from 2 to say 6 or 8, it just zooms right through like butter. There is no hiccup. There's nothing. It just keeps right on going, like it didn't even notice that changed. And it's like, cool, I'm done. So I love that feature. I don't ever have to think twice about what I'm doing. I just sew and go. I've never had problems with it either. So I've never had to take it in. I've just oiled it and cleaned it out. Is it, Gabby? Yeah. I don't know enough about the brothers, so you'll have to probably give them a little learning thing on your brother too. So yeah, and some people don't use their cutter. That's true, Amber. Yeah, you can turn your cutter off if you wish, and each machine has its own way of turning the cutter off if you wish to do that. I've never done that, but I can see an instance where maybe I should have, and it maybe would have worked out better for me in the process. I just never did it. Now, I can adjust this as well to get those really tight seams that you guys see on finishes, like a finish edge, and they're super nice. You'll see them like on ruffle edges. But what kind of needles and thread I use, Amber? I use standard serger thread. So anything on a cone. This is Maxi Lock right here. I use, some of them can be a little bit fluffy, I guess. So they have a whole lot of, I don't know if you can, if it shows, you can kind of see like this Maxi Lock here has been in my drawer a little bit, so it's got brushed up a little bit. The threads aren't necessarily as clean. But then that's also sometimes some brands of threads will do that, and others will be real finished, real nice on the twist. So you just have to kind of experiment. But most of the time, I don't know I haven't experimented with the real nice embroidery threads, so I can't speak to those. I just usually buy either from Walmart or Hobby Lobby or Joann's. So whatever they've got is usually pretty good. The needles, just standard sewing machine needles, probably, I think these look like an 11 that I've got in there because I'm usually using them on cotton. Now, if I'm going to take it through something a little bit more sturdy, I might bump it up to a 12. I might. I would probably try it first and just see if it balks. And if it does balk, like you do with the sewing machine, you know, if you're having problems, one of the first things you do is you check your needle size to make sure that it's not your needle size that's screwing you up first. And then there's other various little checks, you know, you check your thread and make sure it's threaded correctly and that you've got the right thread and that your bobbin's right. I mean, simple little stuff like that. But most of the time I think I just stayed with an 11 on these for the most part. And yeah, just standard. Yeah, you know, everybody has their machines that they like, Gabby. I'm a Juki lover after I bought this. I'd always wanted one because they are the bomb. If you're going to do like some real heavy duty, intense sewing, and I don't mean heavy duty as in thick materials, but you are going to put it through its paces and it's going to work all day long, day after day after day, just for hours on end. They will take it. And so I wanted something that it was a one and done for me with the serger. I was like, I'm going to buy this. It's going to last me for decades. And so when I walked in, I was between this model and I think the one that was one step below it. And she was the lady selling it to me. I don't remember. It's been just long enough what the differences were. But sorry, a constant sewing. Yes, thank you, Amber. I know I'm having a hard time with my words. It's Sunday night. Sorry, guys. But she showed me what the one difference was, and I cannot remember what it was. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you. But I love everything that it does. So what I'm going to do now is show you what it does to an edge. Say like this is going to become a ruffle, and I want to finish this edge rather than turn it and sew a straight seam. You can do that, or you can finish it this way. So what I do, at least on the Jukis, is I have an adjustment here. So I have a slide. And so I'm going to slide that. And sometimes I only go halfway. And that's what I did the other day is I went halfway and it stops. If I can just get it to adjust here. Come on, focus, focus. Anyway, it's from there to there. So it's all the way back when I'm doing just regular serging, and then all the way forward if I want it to be super tight. And then I can also come over and mess with this dial to get spacing, but I don't do this one very often. It's one that if you have a specific need for it, you just start playing around with settings. Again, I don't use it that much, so I'm not 100% sure that I remember exactly what I would use it for. So I just move this one most of the time. And we'll do that, and then I'll move that, and I'll tell you exactly what it does, because it's been a while since I've done that. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Okay, so that made it a little closer together, but not a whole lot. So now I'm going to move it forward more. And we'll start from here. And so you can see the difference is getting a little bit shorter here, depth-wise, versus that. Okay, I think I remember what this one's for now that's doing that. So when I turn this dial right here, it's going to probably do what I... Nope, not doing it. Okay, Still not quite there. Hang on. I'm going to take it all the way down the other way. It's getting a little better. So what I've got a tension over here as well. I know what I'm trying to do, guys. Sorry. It's the differential. And I think that's what I need to have moved. All right. Let me do this real fast. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, as I didn't move the Nope. All right. I should have messed with that ahead of time. So trying to remember what it was. It's been a while since I've done that. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done it, and I don't remember how to do it. Shoot. Sorry, guys. Well, I'm getting a little closer because I messed with the tension too. So basically, when you start messing with that stuff, what I'm trying to get it to do, I'll be right back. So I think what I did is I'm trying to get it to do this. You can see that. See how skinny that is right there? And then you do that on the ruffles, and your ruffle edges are finished real nice. It's just 3 threads instead of the 4. So I would have to undo one of those. And then there's one more setting. I always have to look at the book for this one because I don't do it often enough. And it's just a combination of turning this, turning that, and turning one of those, and then removing one of the threads. And then you get this. And it is super easy to do. So you can finish your edges. They call it even a tulip edge. So if you have a piece of knit fabric, you can pull it while it's sewing, and then it creates like this lacy, nice finish, but then it creates a tulip edge, kind of like that would look right there on your knit. And so it just gives you another way to finish something. Kenmore. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about the Kenmore, Sandy. I know the Kenmore sewing machines were good. My uncle only didn't like a few of the machines, and he had his valid reasons because the parts were plastic, not metal. And I don't even know that you can get your hands on some of those. One of them was a Necchi, Necchi. He didn't really like those, and they really did. I sewed on one at his shop, and I didn't like it either. It just didn't feel good, and you could feel the plastic parts. So I don't remember him saying that the Kenmores were that way. I know my mom had a Riccar when they first came out, an Riccar. I didn't like that either, and she didn't either. After a while, it just didn't hold up. It seemed like it was a disposable machine to some degree, but that was also one of the first ones that was computerized, so I don't know if it had something to do with that as well. Stitch length, right side. Yes, I always have to look up everything when I do this. It's just a combination of a couple of things. It's super easy. Your booklets will show you perfectly. You know, they spell everything out super well. You know, they're like, turn this, turn that, take this out, turn that over, and go. And it's usually 100% right every single time. So those booklets, just make sure they're not too far from you if you're going to start messing with the settings. But there is so much you can do with these things. The only thing, and you'll find that out in my sew along when we get to next week. And next week, the sew along is bummies, guys. So I'm going to teach you how to make bummies, and they're super easy. And so it's going to be Amber's going to do the leggings. And then when we go do the bummies, it's going to be a version of legging a little bit. So it's kind of going to be an add-on to her class tomorrow night. but it might have a little twist to it because I might do something just a little different than she did, or my waistband. I think my waistband's going to be done a little different. I think we talked about she was going to show you one way and I'm going to show you another way. And they're all right. It's just whatever you like, the look you like, or whatever's easiest for you, you know, all that kind of stuff. Yes, Amber, you got to pull it out. You got to pull it out and mess with it. You're going to love that. You're just going to, you know, I always said I wasn't going to get a serger. I always just like, no, I'm good. You know, I've got the sewing machine that does the serger-like edge. I'm good. And then when I got the serger, I was like, whoa, why did I wait so long? Because it took me half the time to put a pair of linen pants together, because I make these fake drawstring linen pants, and all they are is side seams, the center seam, and then you elasticize the waist and put in a fake drawstring and turn the edge up. It used to take me, with the sewing machine, it probably took me an hour and a half-ish to do those, because I would do the fake serging edge because it's linen. You gotta finish those edges. I got the serger and I was doing them in 40 minutes. It was ridiculous. And I didn't fight with anything. I didn't have to redo anything, because my sewing machine would sometimes not like to do that stitch for a long period of time, where the serger is like, is that all you got? Bring on more. So I'll never forget that first time I did a pair of those pants. I was like, wow, I just killed myself. I could have been doing this a lot faster a long time ago. So don't, you know, if you want a serger, don't wait and try and justify it, because in all reality, there is a place for a serger. There's a place for a sewing machine. Now, if you can't afford a serger, don't worry. The sewing machine will do what the serger will do. It's just a step or two more. So you can use, if all you have is a straight stitch with a zigzag and that's all you've got, you can do this. So it's just a combination of, you have to sew your seam together and then you go back and zigzag everything together. Now, it's not going to look like this, but it's still going to be a finished edge and you're fine. That's all they used to do before the sergers came around. So, and zigzag, anything other than a straight stitch really hasn't been around that long. The straight stitch machines, I believe it was more like probably the industrial eras, so about the 20s or so is kind of when all these machines with other stitches started coming around. Now, I could be completely wrong, and if somebody knows, tell me, but it seems like it was kind of around that time that all of a sudden machines came out with a zigzag and a straight stitch rather than just the treadles. And so it's about the time that machines became electrified and we went from the treadle to the electrified machine. So yeah, leggings are fast. Leggings are very fast. So sergers are fun. The first time you do it, like Ediani, the first time she did it, it was so cute. She was like, ah, and then she did it. She was like, whoa, that was fast. And it is. It's really fast the first time. And then after you do it, you're just like, woo, 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 you know, and you just start putting them through. And there's ways you can chain piece. And I don't know if you guys have heard of the word chain piecing. And you can do it in quilting. You can do it in anything where you're doing a lot of stitches, stitching of the same piece over and over and over. So if you're doing, say, like 10 items, and you've got maybe like all these rectangles that you have to put together in a sandwich, very much like you would do like 2 of these together. So then you sew through these, and then rather than cutting the edge, you take the next one and you feed it in again, and you feed it in again, and you keep doing it. And then when you pull it out, you've got this long string of them, and you just go through and clip, 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 and then you go and you move on with your iron or whatever you got to do next. So that's a productivity thing. If you guys have not seen that or heard of that, it's really easy. You just, you know, when you think you would normally cut your thread, you don't. You just start sewing the next group, and then the next group, and then the next group, and then you just have this long piece on the back. Oh, did you? Okay, good. Go over to Amber's. She just did a video on that. It's a time saver. It's really amazing. If you can do it as much as you can, you will definitely save yourself, you know, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, because you do lose, you know, every, you know, 15, 20 seconds, it adds up. especially when you're doing a whole lot of them all together. And so if you're doing, it's not unusual to do 10 to 20 items, over the course of a day or two. And if you can do that, you power cut and then you power sew, you can pump them out pretty fast. Yeah, chain piecing, Gabby. Yeah, it's a quilting term, but it works for clothing as well, so long as you don't have some real wonky, fussy pieces. Then yeah, if it's real simple pieces, you can apply the same principle, and it goes very well. Hey Ashley, glad you could join. Yeah, we've been going through the serger and just kind of showing them the Juki, so you may want to replay it at the beginning, and you kind of see a lot of the basic stuff that we were doing. So Ediani, you were asking about that one piece. What do you do with it? I'm sure you've kind of figured it out, that when you got your bobbins and you were like, what's that one piece for? There it is. You turn it upside down and it holds your cone in place so that when the thread comes off, the cone doesn't wobble and go everywhere. So it just keeps everything nice and neat. And then if you use small bobbins, and you're not going to eat, or excuse me, small bobbins of thread till it's Sunday night, and they're smaller rather than these cones, then you take them off and you use just the pin, and it sits on your case right there for you. But that's what that's for, is just to keep everything. Because when you're sewing fast, those of you maybe don't know this, when you're sewing fast with those cones, they can start popping up and hopping, and then they'll pop off, and you'll be in the middle of it, and then you'll be chasing it across your sewing room, and that's never good. Because when you pick that up, you've got dust and just stuff all over it, and then you might have knots. It's just, you don't want that to happen. So it does it a lot on my industrial as well. I have to be very careful that my cones don't pop up, because the cones I use are like this for the industrial, and they do tend to do this a lot. So I've got the same thing on my industrial. You can kind of see it right here. It's got the little, and it's upside down because these are bigger. And so I turn them upside down so that they fit in there and stay in there better. Oh no. You can probably replace those. That's pretty easily done, Ediani. So yeah, that probably are going to want to do that, because that also helps keep them from hopping around a little bit. But yeah, that's okay. No, don't worry about it, Ediani. That's, it happens. We all just kind of get excited and get going. And yeah, I would have been doing the same thing. So when I got this, I was like, I think I came home and sewed for a day solid and didn't come up for air. And then my girlfriend called me, and she knew I'd gotten it, and she'd had a serger for a while, and she just kind of left me alone. And she goes, so? And I was like, yeah, you're right. I should have got one a long time ago. And I am so in love. I want to hug this thing, She's like, I know, it's a game changer. So it was kind of fun. Oh, Amber, thanks. I did a little one, but I'm going to do a better one tonight, because I just had my my laptop, and I was like trying to take my laptop and show you guys. It wasn't working. So yeah, I thought maybe I'll do another tour for you guys tonight of the studio. So let's finish up here. Yeah, I know. Did you hug yours, Eddie? I'm the only one that wants to hug my machine. Yeah, I know. So you're loving it, right? I hope so, because I saw the fact that when you go over to the DR, you're going to want to start that shop. And that's what I was thinking about when I told you about this, because I wanted something that wasn't going to give you any trouble, because I don't know how it's going to be for you to get things fixed over there. And this is something you can clean out, and it keeps on going, And the thing is, guys, when I bought this as a model on the floor, a floor model. So they gave me some money off, and this is shame on this girl for doing this. The customer service wasn't the best where I got it. I was a little embarrassed for her. So I used the machine, and I opened it up, and it was just full of all the shards and shreds and fabric and dust and all that. And I looked at her and I was like, so you're going to clean the machine before I leave, right? Because it is the floor model. I mean, I wasn't talking a little. It was bad. It hadn't been cleaned out in a while. And I looked at her and I said, are you sure that this thing is going to run okay? Because look at all that in there. And she goes, oh no, she goes, the sergers are fine. You're going to be fine. You know, you can get them really dirty and it doesn't matter. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to clean that, right? And she sent me out the door without cleaning it. And I'm like, okay, good thing we have a warranty. And so I got home and I cleaned it up real good. I mean, it took me probably 15, 20 minutes to vacuum it all out and just get a brush in there and clean everything. I'm fussy about my machines. When I clean them, I get in there. And I mean, I really get in there. And that's something my uncle taught me. He goes, you know, it doesn't take you long to clean a machine. And if you get in there and you clean it, you will not see your repairman very often. You oil it, you clean it, take it in just once in a while, maybe once a year, and he'll do some adjustments and some fine tuning, but you're never going to pay for a huge repair unless you burn it to the ground like your mother does with the motors. You know? So I was like, all right. And I cleaned it up, and I was really embarrassed for her that customer service wise, I was like, I would have been cleaning that out for the customer. They should have never even mentioned that to me. But just telling you guys, this thing can get really filthy. And so I was thinking about you, Adiana, on it getting really filthy, and it's not going to do anything because I've put it through its test and it didn't affect it at all. So just let you know, I think you're gonna, you know, it's gonna stand up for you real well. And that's what I was hoping, so you wouldn't have to send it back to get repairs or try and find somebody to fix it for you. So oh, Jamie. Yeah, Jamie was sitting down here with me this afternoon. So she was looking at all my yarn. I'll show you guys that too. But all right, the big cub organizer looks awesome, actually. So I've got, when I give you the tour, you'll see more of those. Yeah, he's my foster. That's kind of, I think I'm going to be a foster film. He's going to end up staying. He is an absolute sweetheart. He's probably, I'm guessing, 7-ish. He was dumped over by my office, and I work from home, so the girls know that I foster and rescue and stuff. And so they called me and said, we can't find his home. We've called animal control. They're not going to come get him. I'm like, you've called animal control? No. They're like, well, they're not going to come get him. And I was like, okay. So they're like, he's hanging around, and he's been around for a couple of months, but we've just noticed him. Can you take him and we'll try and find him a home? And I was like, okay, he can come stay with me. You know, he can be in the studio until we find him a home. And I'm not one of those that wants to find a home just like that. I want to get to know the cat. I want to do, you know, like you do when you see the fosters all over. I do that with them. I want to make sure they're healthy. I want to check all their personalities. I want to see, do we have any little personality things that we need to either work on or know of before they go to their home. And he's been hanging out. He's so chill. I mean, he came in, he just sat down, and it was kind of like he'd been here his whole life. Purr, make biscuits, just wants to be loved, never gets into anything. And he's been here for 3 or 4 weeks now. And he just eats, crawls up there and sleeps, or sleeps over on the couch, goes down, eats some of his food, looks out the window, watches the other cats outside. That's all he does. And then he just purrs a lot. He's so sweet. Missing these teeth here, and he's got one of his little longer teeth that's kind of broke just a little bit. It's not bad. It's not going to hurt him. But anyway, he's a honey, and he doesn't have a name yet. And I'm afraid I'm going to be a foster fill because he's really cool. He's a lot of fun to have around. So yeah, he does love me. Yeah. Yes, it is quiet, Ediani. Very quiet. And I don't know how much thickness you've put it through, but you need to try it. You need to give it some thicknesses and just let it go. Hit that foot feed and boom, go. And it's going to slice through it like butter. It's just cool just to play with it like that. I love that. Serger and overlock. So basically, an overlock is most of the time, if you're going to have an overlock, you want to have a separate machine. You don't want a serger that goes from serging to overlock to serging to overlock. And here's why. First of all, it takes a long time to move it from one to the other and then back and then back and then back and then back. You don't really want to do all that fussing. When you're sewing a lot, you know, if you're just doing it for personal stuff and it's an occasional item, that's one thing. But if you're going to do it for business, you want two separate machines. So you don't ever have to switch it. And number two, the professionals flat out say, don't mix the two on a machine. You always separate them because you will not get either a clean serging or you will not get a clean overlock. So you're going to have, it's going to be really good at one, but not the other. So you definitely want the separate machines for various reasons. Now, you don't have to get a top end of the line of the one that you don't use the most. So an overlock, a lot of times what it is when you take your materials, say you have a knit and you're going to put the two edges together like this and lay it flat and seam them together here so that they seam flat, and you're going to run it through the machine like this. So that's an overlock one way. And then another way would be an edging. So if you're going to do like your t-shirts, if you see your t-shirts and how they do the hem down there that you buy from the stores and all that, so they'll take it and they'll hem it like this and then they sew it. That's another overlock. So you see that straight stitch on the top, but then you see this kind of thing going on the underneath. That's overlock. And then the serger is just like we've been showing you here. And I don't know if you were here earlier. If you weren't, just go ahead and rewatch the live at the beginning on the replay and you'll see what the serger does. But yeah, and I do remember my uncle saying that too. Don't mix them. He didn't like that. He had a lot of problems with the machines when they came in, and they were the combo machines. So I've always, whenever I go shopping for a machine or something, and I'm looking at something, it's kind of funny how I can hear my uncle say, no, 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 that's great. Or, no, 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 don't do that. You know? So he was pretty cool. Honey, that's good, Amber, because I can't come up with something for him because he's just such a sweet soul. Honey, yeah. That might work. I like it. I like it. Cover stitch, yes, cover stitch as well. Overlock and cover stitch. They tend to be a synonymous name. Sometimes they do mean something different, but most of the time they're an interchangeable kind of name or stitch. Yeah, he does. He's a precious boy, though. I'll pick him up and just throw him in my arm like a baby, and he's like purr, 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 and I cuddle him, and he's like, oh, this is so awesome. So, and then 5 minutes later, and I'm done. I'm ready to go down. I need to go eat. So, all right. Any other questions about the serger, girls, guys? Anybody? Otherwise, I'll give you a little tour and we'll keep chatting. I'll have to carry my sewing machine, carry my computer with me. All right. So, and I'm sorry, it's a little messy. It's not too bad, but it's a little messy. I got to clean just a little bit around here. So, all right, I'm going to start. Start with the cat, his favorite place right up there. I used to have some boxes up there that was holding some of my, I dye yarn and fiber as well for the sewing industry or the knitting industry and the spinning industry. So I had some fiber that I'd already dyed in boxes to keep it clean and ready to be shipped out when it sells. He gets up there and he starts chasing his tail, and then he's kicking all the boxes off. So I was like, all right, I got tired of picking those up all the time, and they ended up over there in the corner on top of that shelving unit. So I'm like, all right, you win. You're just too darn cute. You have to win. So, all right, guys, I'm going to start in the corner here. So basically, that whole side right over there is all of my yarn and everything that I do. So I have my dye station right there. And then this little guy right here, when we get a little more straight on, he's a beast. He takes cones of yarn, which look like the threads, the cones of thread, but they're actually bigger cones of yarn. And then I put them into skeins on that. And I can do 12 skeins at one time. So it's a production thing. And I love it. A guy had built that for my friend for when she opened her yarn store, and she was doing some dyeing, and then she ended up not using it and just buying the skeins already done. And so she brought it over here so I could have it. I had a need for it periodically, and I still use it quite a bit for various other things too. So I would be really sad if I ever lost that thing. So can you do different stitch styles? Not on the serger, Ediani. Just that you saw when you did the first things that you did, and then the edges on the ruffles. So things just basically get skinnier or tighter or wider and looser. And then you can also go from 2 threads to 3 threads to 4 threads on your edges. At least on the Juki you can. And it just depends upon the type of stitch you're doing and the kind of edge you're doing. So your manual that you got with that, I know I saw it when you unpacked it, has all of that information in there. That manual was really, really good on the Juki, and it's really explanatory for how to switch out all those threads and what you're going to get for the edgings with it. If you're watching, yes. Yeah, Amber. Okay, so I have actually 2 Etsy stores. So one is for the yarn and the fiber, and then I also make project bags, so hand-sewn project bags. And then the other one is my kids' clothes with the baby shoes and dresses, and I'm incorporating the embroidery here and there. And I do leather bags for the knitting store, and then I'm going to start incorporating some leather items for bags and stuff also for the kids stuff. So this is where I'm sitting, only I'm turning, looking the other way. So there's the industrial machine, and then I put this as a wall in between the other space and here to kind of separate it a little bit, plus give me some reachable things for all of my thread and anything that I'm still kind of trying to get a feel as to what needs to go there. And as I use it, I change it up. And it's kind of a mess right there right now because I'm still trying to get organized. I've only had these shelves for a couple of months, so I'm still trying to figure that out. So then here's my cutting table. So I was telling you guys, and I don't know if it showed very well, but I have these 9 cubby units for the shelving. And so it's like an H with a fat middle. So I have 4 of them. So 1 on each side and 2 in the middle. And then 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch thick sheathing, 4x6 piece, 2 of them on top. I do not bolt it down. And then it doesn't bounce if you put a machine on there. So you can put your machines on there and sew away and it will not bounce. You can do your cry cut, anything like that on there, and it will not bounce. It will not move. I can crawl on that table and sit on it, and it'll hold me because of these 2 pieces. And then those are sturdy, being in the H. And then I also sometimes will put my heat press on the end here. And I will also put my ironing. If I'm doing real small pieces, I'll throw up. You can either iron just on the wood, or I'll throw down something to protect the wood and iron right on that if I'm just kind of in a hurry or don't want to put up my ironing board. So this is a workhorse too. I mean, you can, if it gets gross, you don't like it anymore, just go get another couple pieces of sheathing and replace it. It's really inexpensive to do, but you know, you can do this for really really good price. Plus, then you can move it too. So easy to move, easy to take apart. You can reuse the shelves if for some reason you decide you don't want a table anymore. You can use the shelves, and then these can just be whatever you need them to be. So walking this way, I'll give you a look now for where I was. So that's where I was sitting, right there. So the machine, you can kind of see it right past the table. And I'm in the process of doing a chalkboard right here on the end. So this is where I want to put a lot of my goals. I'm just having a hard time. I didn't do it right. I didn't prime the end. Shame on me. I just tried to take the shortcut and just throw the paint up there, but it's scratching off when I use the chalk. So I gotta redo it a little bit, but I'm gonna put all my goals up there so I can see them when I'm working at the table here. So down below, then I've got some cubbies down there and just a little catch-all right now, but most of that's like my pieces of leather. I will show you guys the shoes here in a second. I don't have many because when I make them, I send them out right away and I take a picture. They're already something that's bought, and I take a picture and then I put them online. So I really don't have samples. So there's the steps to go outside, and I have double doors both sides so you can get things in and out. And then there's more cubbies there. And there's Jamie's sitting area where she was today knitting while I was trying to figure out this camera. My heat press. Yes, on top of 2 wired 3-tier racks next to each other. Yes, it is. Yes, Ashley, it's amazing how much room they give you. It's pretty cool. Yeah, the chalkboard. I use stuff like that for so many things, and I have a feeling I'm going to end up doing it in more spots because it's going to become an area where if I have to go get some things, I'll just write it down so that when I'm running out the door, I can just look at the list real fast or take a picture or something and run to the store and remember everything that I needed. So there's the 2 embroidery machines. That's my Janome on the left, and she's a combo machine. I've had her for probably about 18 years. Sews like a dream. I love her. But she's only a 4x4 and a 5x7. So the big white cabinets, those are from IKEA, Amber. So yeah, you can get those online at IKEA, and they also have the insets. So you'll see like the little 4 right there or the 9. You can buy those insets as well. So all those are IKEA shelving. Most everything in here is IKEA, including that right there. That's an IKEA piece, and it's got wheels on the bottom. We had those at our office, and then our office decided to get rid of all the furniture and buy some new furniture, so we got to take those for free. And there was like 4 pieces, 5 of those, maybe 4 or 5. And I grabbed 2, and before I could even grab another one, somebody else had the other 3 because those are such amazing pieces. So if you can get those, they hold the sewing machine so nice. That does not move because those are locking wheels. And then if I need to move it, all I do is unlock the wheels and I move the entire machine. I don't have to pick it up. It is really nice. But I don't really move it that often. So that's a brother as well, and that's a combo machine. I got that right before right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I wasn't gonna buy another machine, but it was a deal I could not pass up. I could not say no, and I knew if I walked away from it, I'd be really sorry. So I grabbed it. I love it. It's really nice, but it is a single needle. So I don't know that I'm going to do another flatbed single needle. If I get another embroidery machine, I think I'm going to look at a multi-needle. I'm not quite sure if I'm there or if I ever will be there. I'm not going to do embroidery as my main part of my business. It's an add-on. So the things that I was doing, yeah, there's my printer up at the top. I just finally figured out to put that right there. I'm good at doing this. Sorry, guys. And so my whole business has been the kids' clothes and the kids' shoes. And then I want to add the embroidery to it to make it a little different. And I just got a shipping of Chewy in, so that's what all this is right now. It actually showed up this afternoon. I felt bad. The poor guy, he had to unload when it was absolutely sleeting and snowing and just the worst time ever. I felt so bad for the guy. So there is my mess from my live event for my yarn. I have a live event monthly that I sell on through a group through Facebook called WAFA, Woolen Fiber Arts. And so it's like a fiber festival every month, but it's online. So I've got another one coming up in a couple of weeks, and I'm trying to organize what I'm going to sell. And these are all different weights of the yarn. So I'm trying to go through it and see what I'm going to do. And once I do that, then I can put everything back away again. So that all is my fiber, some more of my fiber stuff over there. And then my sink. This looks really messy, and it's just because all of this is right here right now. It really takes up a lot of room. And I'm in the process of dyeing, so that's still kind of a mess. But other than that, I've got ceiling fans up there, and then the mini split. So I've got 14-foot ceilings in here, which help when I'm dyeing, and it helps with the light. So the kids' shoes, if you get on my Etsy store, you'll see a lot of the kids' the shoes themselves. But I'll show you this. Most of the shoes, when I first started doing them, Robbie's, I'm sure a lot of you girls know the Robbie's brand, where it had the elastic in the back and then the top was flat. And you see it everywhere still. Well, and then they have the decoration, like I think right here. I was like, but when you're holding a baby, you've got the baby like this most of the time. You don't see the top, you see the bottom. So my shoes have the design on the bottom. And then I also put the elastic across the top of the foot so that the baby can't kick the shoe off as easily. And then it looks a little bit more like a regular person's shoe. So that's the leather shoes that I do. And then I have the romper. And these are the things that kind of inspired me thinking we could start doing some of these sew-alongs, because Amber was doing some of these as well. And I was like, these are super easy, and hers are super easy. And until you can buy blanks, you have to make up the pieces that you want to fill in on your shop so that you can have whatever you're envisioning your shop to be, whether you sell, certain sets or whatever. So until you can buy the blanks, you need to make those pieces, but it doesn't become cost effective anymore once you can buy the blanks. So that's where I'm at is, well, we can show you how to do some of this stuff, like the bummies. I think they're slowly starting to get those. I've seen possibility that they're coming in with blanks. I was sure that Angela would have those as soon as they're available. So the bummies may be something that will be coming in soon. I know the gowns are big, so you could make them, but the price that they are, you can't justify making them. So anyway, this is a button-down romper. And then I put the construction with the name. So it's an I and then whatever their name is. And so when I got the little guy to do it, I don't know. These guys, I don't usually use these this much. I will take them to a show, but for pictures, I don't like the way they look when I take the pictures. If you guys use them and you can get them to work really good, show me, because I mess with them and mess with them and mess with them, and I just do not like my pictures. And so I end up taking and just lying them down or hanging them up or something like a lot of people are doing and using the props. And I think my shop looks cleaner when I don't use these guys, but I do have a couple of them up there for the shows. So I like to get them on the shows, and then you can put them up and down, and then people can come and touch and look and stuff if they want to see it. So, and then you always have to adjust a little bit in the back. You do a lot of pinning just to make it look right from the front. And they're always super short-legged. I don't know why. They just are. These little guys are always so funny. They're kind of oddly shaped. Hey, Glory. Let's see, the big white cabinets. Okay, yeah, we went through that. Do behind the barn door. Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea, Gabby, to do that behind the barn door. I agree. I think that's good because then you can hide it. Thanks, Gabby. Yeah, that's the blanks, Gabby. That's what we were talking about that we're going to start doing as we go forward. So those leggings and the dresses and stuff. So we'll start doing a whole bunch of those. Where did I get those? What are you talking about, Amber? Where do you get those? And Gabby, what are you talking about? Where do you get them? They're super cute. Yeah, yeah, Amber, I know. They seem like a great idea to use these little guys, these little forms and the models. Oh, the rompers. Yeah, this was a pattern. So I made the romper. Yeah. Yes, Gabby. Yeah, that's where a lot of this stuff that we're going to teach you. So this romper is really super easy. It takes probably longer to put the snaps in, and these are the cam snaps. Probably takes longer to put the snaps in than it takes to make the whole romper. The romper is super fast. So it's really just, the two side seams, the under seam, the crotch seam basically, then you put in the neck piece, so the neck trim, and I serge everything on this, and then you turn your placket to put your cams on, and I serge everything except for the final top stitch around, and you don't have to do the top stitch, but I think it looks professional and it makes the neck piece stand really nice so that when you wash it, you don't always have to iron it. You can just throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer, pull it out, give it a shake, hang it up, hold it, put it on the kid, whatever, and it's good to go. So that's really all this is. It's super, super fast. And then if you want to do the applique or some kind of embroidery, you can put it up here. I chose to do it down here because it was easier to hoop, but you could put it up here. You could float it and put it up here. I just know me, and I know I would probably end up getting it off center, up too high, way over. I just know how I am. So I try and put it places where I know I can be consistently within the good window of being right. I mean, you're never going to 100% get it in the right spot every single time. So, you shoot most of the time for the vicinity, and the vicinity is usually never off by much. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm one of those. I'm kind of like when I do cooking, I don't really follow recipes. I'm one of those. It's like, tell me what's in it. Give me an idea of how much, and then I just kind of throw everything together. I kind of do that with sewing too. So these sew-alongs are going to be good for me because it's going to make me tighten up my processes just a little bit so that I get a little more consistency and I pull in my speed, I guess is what I should say, because I get a little sloppy if I let myself go too fast. Hey, Teacher Victoria. Oh, my little guys. So I got one of these the little model guys from eBay. And then the other two, my girlfriend had the yarn store here in town, and then it went out of business for various reasons. It wasn't COVID related, but she did it during COVID. So she had the other two. So I got those two from her, and that's where I got all this shelving from, was from her, but she got it from IKEA because this used to hold all the yarn in the shop. Yes, yes. See, Gabby, that's why I was like, we're going to go so many places with these sew-alongs because there's just so many simple, easy patterns out there that can become a basic, and you can change them up a little bit. Because, like, easy way with this little romper, he doesn't have to have sleeves. He can be a sleeveless guy, and so then all of a sudden, he's got no sleeves, and then you can make him more of shorts. So there's just so many simple little tweaks to change a pattern up. So yeah, we're gonna have fun with these sew-alongs this year. Oh, thank you, Evemar. Yes, Amazon probably will have them too. I'm very conscious about price when it comes to these little guys. They can be really expensive or really reasonable. So just make sure you pay attention when you look around enough. And also the other thing is you want to make sure if you get one that their arms move really easily, that they have the flexibility. So it'll tell you on there, because I can even kind of somewhat move the legs a little bit. The only thing I don't like about this one is he has a base that comes with him. And then with that base, they put a tube right here for you to put the holder so that he stands like this. Well, then that holder is there, and whatever you've got on him has to go over the holder. And for the most part, most of it'll fit, but every now and then it gets in the way. So I'm just saying. And so I don't use the holder a whole lot, and I'll just prop him and just kind of move him around and stuff. Yes. And small things. Gabby, you're doing really well. You really are doing super well. You have this one, Amber. Yeah, it's got that big round metal base. It's heavy. That base was heavier than I thought. And it's bigger. I mean, I'm carrying it around by the pole, and I'm like, I'm going to hurt myself carrying this in with this and everything else, because you're swinging it around and it's real thin but heavy. Yeah. So anyways, I'll give you a little straight on of that little beast. I forgot to do that. I was going to do that. And then we started talking. So there's the beast that winds the yarn in the skeins. And it's so funny because people will come over and they're like, what's that? What do you do with that? And it's so funny. I love to watch people's faces because I wouldn't know either. You know, I'd look at it and go, what is that? I'm trying to think of all these things it could be, but yeah, it's really cool. It gets going really fast too. I can get in there and just spin it and walk away and go do stuff and go back and spin it again and let it keep going and go do some other stuff. So yeah, I'm trying to think. I'll show you guys everything for now. Sorry, it's kind of a mess in here. My whole philosophy when you're working, and somebody said this to me and it made a whole lot of sense, so that's why I'm going to share it with you guys. If your studio or your office is clean, you're not making money. If it's messy, you're making money. And I subscribe to that thought, because when it is clean, it's because I'm not doing anything and I've had time to clean it up. Now, do I always leave it like this? No. It'll drive me crazy. In fact, it's already making me a little crazy, but I have to leave it until I'm done with the couple of dye jobs that I've got going on for the yarn over there. And then I can turn around and clean all that up, and I'll actually use those tables for other things too when I'm doing more of the kids stuff. And so I'll be able to go over there and lay, boxes and do that kind of stuff over there too. So just get things out of my way. But yeah, then I've got the sink over there, which, oh, let me tell you, that's a godsend right there, just to have that. Any questions, guys? Yeah, we don't have time to clean the mess. And I understand that OCD stuff. I get it. I totally get it. But I haven't found that fine line yet where I can have a clean studio and have everything perfect and still make stuff and get it out the door. So if anybody has any suggestions, let me know. Maybe it's just me. I'm just kind of a mess at times. Yes. Yeah, the cute outfits on the models, they do make a huge difference. I think when you get them up high enough and people can see them far away, it brings them over to your area to come see what that looks. Because, when you get at these big festivals or you get at the craft shows or whatever, sometimes it's so busy right here on your level that you start looking up and above when you're standing to get through because of the crowd or whatever. And you start scanning, and you want to catch that higher scan level of people's eyes. Or you've got the husband with you that's a little bored, or is just curious about everything. And he's looking, and all of a sudden he sees it. And he's like, wow, that's really cool. And you're like, what? And then he shows it, and you get people over there. And then people want to see it. So you pull it down and they touch it. And well, by the time that they're touching it, the law of retail is if it's in their hands, chances are they're going to buy it. So yeah, that's one thing about when you pull it down and they're touching it. So it's really cool. Yeah, I can't either, Gabby. I know. And I was embarrassed to kind of almost show you guys how dirty it is in here, but I was like, well, this is reality. It really is. I mean, I know where everything's at. And these right here, I made kind of a mess the last couple of days because I was looking for something and I was in a hurry. And so I was just kind of messing through everything. And I was like, okay, I have to go back and clean that up because that is not good. That is going to just keep going downhill. And then I'm really not going to find something like my scissors or my tape or something. Zawa, are you still on here? I'm gonna do a video on how to do these tie-dyed onesies, and they're really not tie-dyed, they're hand-dyed. And I'm gonna show Zawa real quick how to do it because I don't have the time to take and make the video, but I'm gonna do the video here probably within the next couple of weeks to the next month because I want to do it real nice and professional, and I want to sit down and edit it up real good. So she had asked to learn, and I want to show her real quick because I can show her fairly fast, but I want to do a really nice video for the rest of you guys. And then that way you'll always have a reference. But this is what I want to show you guys. And for those of you that were not on my live, the first one, didn't see this, but I was telling Angela too, because she was on there, that if you guys want colored onesies, we can dye them super easy. And then Angela would only have to carry like white and black because I can't get you 100% solid the way the black is going to be solid. It's just not possible to do with a dye and make it, what do I want to say, color fast and guarantee that it's going to stay because black needs to be black. And you can't really get that black of a black with a dye very easily. It's not inherent to do it. So then that would take the burden off of her for colors, plus open it up for you guys to do whatever you want. You can tie dye, you can do shibori dye, you can do just regular dye, you can do whatever to shake it up a little bit. And you can do that with anything. You know, if you want to do some of your other pieces that we're going to learn how to sew as well, you can dye the fabric first, then sew them up. You can sew them up, then dye them. It doesn't really matter what order you do it in. It's a lot of fun, guys. Now, it is an extra step, and you have to account for that in the cost, okay? Because it does take time. But you can do batches, and that takes care of that problem for you. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm reading comments again. Yeah, that's it, Gabby. I focus on the orders too. I get to a point, unless I'm showing you guys and with doing these lives and doing these recordings, I'm going to have to at least keep one area that's not looking like a tornado hit it. So it's one of those where when you come over to visit somebody on a live, you kind of get what you get when we do these things. But when I do a recording, I'm going to try and do it a little cleaner because I can control it better. Where in a live, you know, we're going to walk around and talk. So you're just going to see my world. But back to the dyeing, if you do the batches, that's one way to control cost is then you sit and you just do them and you get them done and you can do up all your colors at one time and just take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you know, however many you're doing, do them all and be done. And then when you start running out, then sit down and figure out how many more you got to do. Even if you just have to do some pieces, you can do that. And I'll show you guys all that. It's not so labor intensive, but I've done enough dyeing just even with the yarn. I know it's a time suck and it's not as efficient as we would need, but we're also a small business and we are also creators. And when people buy from us, that's what they want. They want the unique thing. They want the thing that's not mass produced, that looks, you know, these are going to look similar, even though they're dyed together in the same batch. They're going to look similar, but they're not going to be alike. You can't control that with dyeing. It is a very varied process. So even though you do it all together in one batch, in one pot, it still comes out a little different because of where it was in the pot, where the heat source was, when this went in, when that went in. Oh, maybe it was 2 degrees cooler over here than it was over here. Maybe that sat in there a minute longer than that one did. You know, you've got too many variables, and you can control as much as you can, but it's never going to be perfect. So you just live with the imperfect. And that's where your cool, different things come out, is when you embrace the fact that it is hand done on anything. And I'm not even just the dyeing, on anything. Embrace the creative, the handmade. Yeah, we're gonna do that this week. We're gonna get you trained on how to do that. And I'll make a video about that, Gabby. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video. I want it to be a really nice video though for you guys. So it might take, you know, a week or two until I can get that up and released. And I want to test run something with Zawa while I'm helping her to see if my process is understandable, so that when I take it over to the video, I can just replicate it. And I know, you know, you guys are gonna understand what I'm doing. It is real life, isn't it, Ashley? Mm-hmm. Hot mess. I know. There's days when I feel like this is a hot mess down here. And then when I'm dyeing, it's, oh man, when I dye the yarn, I've got it everywhere. And then the temperature in here is super warm. And my thing just shut off again. Jamie, I'm going to have that service, Jamie. It keeps shutting off. I don't like that. Yeah, Gabby, the dying queen. Yeah, embracing, no, everything. You know, Amber, just embracing everything. The handmade process, the fact that we don't want it to look like it's manufactured or commercial made. We want to embrace that handmade process. That's what Etsy's about. That's what we're about as small business owners and as creators. So yeah. Yeah. And you know, you can take this dyeing. Oh my gosh, so many different ways. I'm going to go turn this on. I'm sorry. It's getting chilly in here. So I think I got to get my mini split serviced. It keeps wanting to shut off. Of course, I've got it up pretty high too. So, but anyway, so yes, and you can dye cotton. You can dye, you know, the fabric that you sew with. So let me see if I can put my hands on the fabric I dyed. It's right over here somewhere. Oh boy, I'm gonna put my hands on that right away. I know it's in one of these cubbies. I didn't think about it, or I would have grabbed it ahead of time. Oh, here it is. So you can even just hand dye fabric. So I just took some linen, and I actually just wanted to, what I call exhaust a pot. So when you exhaust a pot, you have just a little bit of dye left in that pot from your previous dye process, and you didn't need to use all of it, and you kind of misgauged, or that's just me because I'm loosey-goosey about things. So to use up all that dye so I don't throw it away, I grabbed some linen, and it was just an off-white piece, and I just threw it in there and just let it absorb up the dye. And so I've already cut some pieces off of it, and then the rest of it was just kind of in a regular piece. I was just testing it to see, and I was shocked how much dye was still in that pot. I didn't think there was this much, and it was going to come out this dark. I thought it was going to come out more like a baby blue. So that was a good test for me on that. Yes, you can do that, Faye. Yeah, you can dye, you can dip it in, you can over dye so you get different colors. When they do the ombre and you see the dark, the medium, and the light on fabrics, that's basically they take the fabric and they pull it all the way down and they pick up the dye, however long they leave it down. And then the second dip only goes part of the way down. So then they're over dyeing again, or you can do it in a different color. And so then you get, say, like you start with a yellow, and then if you over dye with a purple, then that second band's going to come out brown. And then if you do something else on the bottom, then you're going to get a whole different color. Or if you want to dip it a little longer in that purple, then you get a darker brown. So that last dip then on an ombre, so if you would say like you would do a blue, your first dip will be real light and it'll be all the way up. Your second dip will be like a medium and that only goes part of the way up, so you still have a band of the blue. And then your bottom dip for that bottom is the dark blue. And it's just the same color, you've just dipped it 3 times. And so it keeps layering that dye on and making it darker and darker. So that's kind of fun. So then I experimented with doing some shibori. Yeah, it's fun. And kids love to do this dyeing, and you can do it with them real easy. So shibori is basically just taking your fabric and you just roll it and squish it, and then you tie it up and you dye. I dyed in 2 or 3 different colors on this one. And it really, it's just the way you place things on how things come out. This looks like kind of like an ink, the way it came out, because I started with kind of an off, kind of a tea dye, I guess is the easy way to say. So the base color was a tea dye, and then I went in with this dark navy blue. And so it kind of looks almost like a faded ink when you look at it. Hey, Mia. Glad you could join us. Yeah. Yeah, you never know. But that's what Angela's doing. She's selling the dye blanks. So she can, those blanks are dye blanks. You can dye those. But anyway, we'll talk offline, Amber. We'll talk about stuff. This one, you know, each one is different. This one's got hints of red in it, and it looks like leaves. And these are not hard, guys. They just look really, really hard, but they're so easy. And it's just once you know the dye process that you'll learn in this with the onesies and all that, you can apply it to cotton and everything. It's super easy. Faye. Yeah, I do that too. I'll forget. Say hi to people. So, you know, you just start with different bases and add other colors. Like this one was a gold piece of linen. It was already, that's how I bought it. It was bought gold. And so then I dyed kind of a red over it. So there's just all kinds of fun stuff you can do, and you just take it to the next level. And the next level, everybody always thinks it's like this really convoluted process, and it's not. The next level is sometimes you just take this and you just start putting rubber bands around stuff. You know, that's the next level. So the green one, yes, the green one is my favorite. I have to agree. That one is my favorite. But you get so many fun different things. And I just used a bunch of like odds and ends. Like this was a dress I was making out of linen, and then I ended up, I don't know, I screwed it up. So I was like, I'm just going to see what colors I can get out of this, and maybe I'll make a bag or something out of it and cut it all up. So this was a tan linen, and then I over dyed it, and then I did some more of the twisting and stuff. So you just have fun with these things, you know. Don't think about them, just do them. Just start thinking, okay, I like these 2 colors together. Let's see what we get. So this is done like that other one, just in different colors. And it's a nice, if you guys have a creative block or you're needing to refresh your brain or yourself, stuff like this that is so completely away from what you're doing will refresh you so fast. And just stop and, you know, take a day sometime and just say, you know, I'm going to play. I'm just going to have a play day. And you do that, and then all of a sudden you come up with other ideas for things too. It's really kind of fun. Hey, Sandy, thanks. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be, there's just going to be a whole lot of just whatever you guys want to learn. We'll start doing some, I'll just start doing some videos and some pre-recorded stuff too, so that you can, look at those, and then we can go from there. And if we want to do some lives with things, we can do that as well. Oh, you're still in Philly, Mia? Oh my goodness. Wow. You feel like you're never going to get back home? Yes, Faye, you can use objects to print the die with too. Just whatever. We used to use potatoes when I was a kid. We'd take a potato and you'd cut out the design, and then you'd use that as a stamp. I mean, potato, but it works. Yes, I know, Amber. You start embroidery and then it takes over because it's kind of a refreshing thing. That was me too. I just kind of started doing the embroidery this year to do something a little different, to kind of, I guess, you always are trying to come up with new things for your shop. You'll do something for however long you do it, and you feel like you need to add a breath of fresh air to your shop, so you pick something else up. Well, then I did that with the embroidery, and I was going to do this for my project bags for my knitting. And then the more I started looking at that, I was like, I had a whole bunch of ideas, but then I started going, and then that's not cost effective, because then it becomes labor intensive. And if that takes off, so then I went that route and kind of pulled the brakes on it for right now. I'm still working it through my brain, trying to decide if I can figure out how I can do it to make it work. So may happen, may not. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, Adiani. Yeah, it's okay. No problem. No problem. Did he go to bed for you? So I know he just had his birthday, a week ago? So he's going to be so big. When are you guys moving? I keep forgetting to ask you. Is that soon? Is that later this year? Because I know you keep talking about it. It kind of sounds like it's soon. Yeah, Mia, we were asking her that too. We want her to kind of give us a little synopsis on the pop-up. So I was kind of hoping she'd kind of give us a little shakedown on it and bring us up to date, because I really am curious how that went. I've thought about doing some pop-ups. I've actually talked to a friend of mine who did some other things, and I said, San Antonio is very close to me, and there's a couple of areas over in San Antonio I could see doing some pop-ups because they happen. And I was just kind of thinking, if she would be interested in doing it with me, like on a Saturday, we wouldn't have a set schedule, and just kind of, let's do it this Saturday because that's going on, and we're ready. We have enough product or whatever to go do this. And we never quite shook it out, but I think it's still something that's possible once COVID's gone, that we can do this anywhere across the US. You just need to kind of be creative with where you go do it. So maybe you get together with a coffee shop and they sponsor you to come in, and maybe another person, and maybe you're not inside, but you're outside, and they do a couple of them. Or maybe you have a little retail center that has like a little restaurant and a coffee shop and maybe a bookstore or something like that draws people in, and then you could have some pop-ups and you get with a couple of those people. And obviously you probably have to run it through the leasing agent for that area. Sometimes what these leasing agents will do too is that if they have a storefront that has not been renting for a very long time and it's empty, and Christmas starts coming up, they may make you a really, really good deal to go in there like for a weekend, or say, I will make a deal with you to go in and set up a shop and be in there for like a week or 2 weeks. And they're at least getting something for rent, and it's not sitting empty, and you get a storefront for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. You got to be really creative, but I've seen it happen down here. And some people were able to get that storefront area for a really reasonable price because those guys weren't making any money and they didn't see anything coming in too soon. And they had enough people right around in the area that would draw them traffic, and they did really well. So you just get yourself like a big banner and put it out, or whatever the leasing agent will let you do for advertising outside too. Yeah, Ashley, I know that pandemic kind of killed us, didn't it? Oh, well, that's good that he likes to go to bed, Ediani. That's cool. Hell, I like going to bed too. Yeah, she fights it, huh, Mia? Yeah, that's tough when they don't want to go down and you're tired and they're tired. You guys have any other questions? I mean, I've kind of thrown a lot at you besides just the serger. It's kind of funny how, you know, one thing leads to the next when I walk you around the studio here. So that's kind of where we went. Oh, thanks, Faye. Oh, that's good, Eddie. And yeah, you had him on that schedule from day one, so that's good. That probably was a good thing that worked in your favor for sure. Yeah, bedtime's at 7. That's awesome. Did he turn 3? Was he 3 this year? He's so cute. Man, that picture you posted the other day, oh my goodness, what a little darling. Oh, that's okay. No, that's okay, Mia. It's all right. Yeah, that's the one good thing about, you know, these lives, that you can go back and rewatch, and then you can kind of fast forward through the parts that maybe bore you a little bit. So, you guys have any other questions? I think I've kind of run out of stuff for right now. I can't think of anything else at the moment. You know, if there's anything else you want to see, I'll show you. Oh yeah, teenagers, Faye. Yeah, you're not going to win that one. They need probably the most sleep then, and they're that stage where they get the least amount because they just don't go to bed. Yeah, his birthday's on Halloween. Yeah, the pop-up in San Antonio, Ediani, that's kind of what I was talking about. Was there is a big one that comes up periodically throughout the year, and they follow, I think they have a route that they do according to the time of year. At least it seemed like it was that way a couple years ago. Now it may not be that way anymore. They may just be in one location, but it kind of seemed like there was pop-ups happening in several locations, but I could be wrong. It might have been the same one. 3, okay. Yes, yeah. And so the car is right there, Mia, and it kind of goes down, and then you go down some steps. So yeah, it looks, it does kind of look like snow. And then I've got this curtain. Sometimes I'll put the other curtain up too. It helps keep the warmth in, and it's actually kind of chilly in here right now. So I'll probably be putting that curtain up. Oh, buddy, you waking up there now? I kind of like that name, Honey, Amber. I don't know. It just might stick for him. Him and I always have these conversations. I look at him and I give him a name, and he just kind of gives me this blank stare, like, well, okay, whatever works for you. Yeah, it does play with your eyes, though. Yeah, I know. It's kind of a little confusing. Plus, I have those real high ceilings too. So, come here, buddy. You can come down here. Huh? Come here. Come here. He's being really good. Sometimes he will come to me when I talk to him, which is unusual. Cats don't normally do that. I've got one upstairs that will. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here, sweet boy. Come here. They want to see you. Isn't he not the prettiest thing? He's just such a honey. Just such a love. Yeah, you don't know what you're looking at, do you? We don't usually watch TV. I've got a cat upstairs that will watch TV. Screen time. Oh my gosh. She is a screen junkie. Worse than a kid. Yeah, yeah, he is a honey. And since he got down, he's kind of like, I didn't really come down to get held. I'm kind of just moving around now because I just woke up. It snowed today, Mia. Yeah, it snowed a lot today. It's not out there anymore, but I mean, we had flakes probably about like that at some times coming down. And it sleeted, and then it would snow, and it sleet and it snow. And I'm just like, I'm done. You can stop right now. Right now. Yeah, he is a cutie. He really, really is a cutie. I'm having a hard time deciding to let him go because he's just a love. He just lets me love on him. So, yeah. And it's hard to believe people just kind of let him go. They just put him outside and ignored him because he's fixed and everything. And you can tell he's got manners and somebody's had him as a cat. So, I don't know. Poor baby. I don't want to know your story. It'll probably break my heart. Yeah, it's really cold here, Mia, today. It's colder than usual here. It's very sharp. It's a very sharp cold that comes with that snow and the sleet that we had in the front that came through. And my mini split's not liking it today either. And I don't know if it's because the outside unit's got stuff in it or whether it just needs to be serviced. It's always when it's the coldest days that you find out your stuff needs to be serviced. So, yeah. I know, Sandy. I don't miss it. I come from the north or from the Midwest. By this time in January, you are so over snow and over cold. It's not even funny. You still got another couple months yet. No, I feel you. That's not fun. Oh, it didn't, Gabby. I would have gladly sent it to you. It snowed and snowed, and it doesn't stick because the ground's too warm. But we got slush, and it was really bitterly cold. So no, I'd sooner have rain and keep the snow. All right, Amber. Yeah, glad you could join us. Put those kids down, and I hope you get a nice evening after that. Yes, I don't miss that, Mia. I don't miss that at all. That is a feeling that it's weird when you go out and you feel like the wind is slicing your face because it's so cold. Yeah. And then it hurts to breathe. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, the kids always want snow, don't they, Gabby? I know the kids down here were all excited today. There was snow, but it's like, you really shouldn't go out in it when it's this cold because they're never 100% ready for how wet they're going to get. And then when they get that wet, that cold can really be bad. It can really freeze their skin pretty quickly. All right, ladies, we're at 2 hours. I don't know if you guys have any more questions or whatever. Is there anything else? Otherwise, I've probably rambled on enough for you guys. Anybody else? Otherwise, they complain, Faye. Yeah, I'm sure they're teenagers. They have to do stuff in it. They don't have to just play. They have to go outside and do things. 2 hours already. Yeah, it's been 2 hours already, Gabby. I know. It's gone quick. I hope you guys were doing some stuff. I hope I didn't just take the time away from you. I hope you were working or just relaxing or whatever, multitasking. Definitely, Mia. Yeah, if you have any questions, just shoot me some messages. You bet. You bet. Absolutely. I was going over the serger and showing you the Juki. I don't know the brother serger. So if you have questions about a brother, Amber has a brother. serger, so she could probably help you. I know some of the other ladies in here have a brother serger as well. So we can try. We can get you some answers. Yeah, I know. It didn't feel like it, Gabby. I agree. I just realized it was 2 hours because I was like, okay, I think I covered everything. And then I looked, I was like, it's been 2 hours. Oh, did you learn something, Gabby? Good. Good. Oh, you bet. Anytime, guys. Yeah. I don't mind sharing with you guys. That's what it's all about. You know, we just help each other. And I'm hopefully going to be able to get some recordings in now too. And my lives will be mostly on Sunday nights. I'm going to try and just do Sunday nights because they seem to work best for me. But like I said at the beginning, if I find out that Adelaida's doing one, or if Danny's doing one, or if Nada's doing one, I'm going to try and work around their time. I don't want to compete with them for those time slots. So, yeah. Yeah, those oil fields out in Oklahoma, because you're out where there's nothing that stops. You're in the heartland where it's the plains. Nothing stops that wind. Yes, and you climb up that high and the wind gets worse. It's horrid. Yes, so next Sunday night, I'm going to do my sew along. So thank you, Gabby. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to do bummies. I'm going to teach you guys how to do bummies, and I'll put out a supply list. I'll try and do that about midweek. So Wednesday, Thursday, I'll do that on Discord. And then when I put the schedule up, when I schedule the live on here on YouTube, I'm going to put it on the front as well. So there'll be a schedule for the sew along in case for some reason somebody wants to do it with us that's not a part of Discord. So if you have a friend that wants to do it and they don't want to get join Discord, then it'll be on my front page, on my marker page. Then tomorrow night, Amber's doing her sew along. So it's at 8:30 Mountain Standard Time tomorrow night. She's going to teach you how to do one leggings. I keep saying onesies because I'm looking at these things laying right here. So she's doing leggings, knit leggings. And then the bummies will kind of show you the same, the waist and the side seams will be fairly similar, only her waist is going to be done a little differently than mine. And you can do these waists on either one. So it's kind of like you're taking it and learning another skill on the same thing and building off of those with skills that you can interchange them up with. And it'll make more sense when we do them if that didn't make any sense to you. So we can talk about, okay, remember how Amber did the waistband like this? Well, you can also do it this way and have a different look. So yeah. And then those sew alongs also will be replayable. So if for some reason you missed them or you want to redo them again, you can always go back and replay them. Okay. Cool, Faye. Yeah, come join us. We're going to have fun. And then next week, mine's going to be on Sunday. And then the following Tuesday will be Gabby again. So it's going to be me and Gabby in 1 week. And then the following week will be Amber. So you'll have 2 in 1 week and 1 in the other. And then we'll just keep rotating. All right, ladies. I don't think there was any guys on there. If there was, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to tell you guys happy Sunday. Tomorrow's Monday, and we're back at it again. So got a whole new week, guys, and miss talking to you on Discord. I hope I can get there more this week. My day job sometimes gets a little crazy, and I try and not let it get that way, but it's not something I can control. So I get on Discord and I'm lurking sometimes, and then I'll answer every now and then. So you'll see me in and out, and I'm watching as much as I can all the YouTubes that are going on during the week too. So I might be working my day job and watching you guys and living vicariously through you during the day. So, all right, ladies, I thank you for showing up. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Faye. Thank you, everybody. I hope I talked to everybody on here. I know Ediani was on here, Mia was on here, Gabby was on here, Sandy was on here, Amber left, Cindy was on here. I don't know if she's still on here or whether she had to go and put her boys to bed. So I will talk to you guys later. And this was fun. We'll see you.